Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Abhishek Kaushik and welcome back to the episode 4 of Pack Talks. And I have with me Mr. Anas Riyad, who is a data scientist, a BI consultant, and an ML engineer working with Adway. Hi Anas.
Hi, Abhishek. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure is all mine. How are things going back there?
Things are going well. It's the end of the year, so trying to wrap up some projects. So it's a busy season at the moment, but all good. No complaints.
Yeah. So the reason why we have gathered over here is, to talk about, to know, being an expert, to have your insights about what exactly is shaping the future and the world of AI and ML. So Anas, I would want to know from you, being involved in multiple projects, what has been your understanding when it comes to the AI and the ML world, how it is shaping and how exactly it is revolutionizing the world.
Yeah, the topic of machine learning and AI has been around for a few years now. It's not really new, but the usage of it on our day-to-day lives is kind of new, and that's why we have all this hype at the moment. Is because it became accessible to everyone. We can use it within our phones, our computers, even for personal use cases, which before it was just a privilege for the biggest companies in the world. Um, so yeah, everything became more democratized nowadays, and we are able to use powerful algorithms within our own devices, and that's all because there are some things that were recently pushed into the world, like LLMs, like AI, and
Yeah.
people now understand the value of technology and everything that was invested on. So we live in an age where things are moving so fast that we don't even know if what we're going to say today is going to be relevant tomorrow. It's exciting times for sure.
Okay. So, because the world is moving forward with a very fast rate, as you just mentioned, what is relevant now might not be relevant after a year or maybe after 6 months. So, now,
Yeah.
being an expert you have led multiple programs, you've been a part of various initiatives. What breakthroughs in AI can we expect or are we likely to see in the next 1 year when it comes to making use of the model efficiency while making use of the small language models or the large language models when it comes to the real world deployment? What can be expected? What's the next big thing which is going to be coming up?
I think within the next 12 months, we shouldn't be expecting big things. I think we'll just have improvement in certain things that we already have at the moment. We know that large language models can be powerful to perform a lot of things, but now a lot of companies, they're moving towards small language models, SLMs, where we don't need a massive multi-billion parameter model to do small tasks, and people are starting to understand this. For people who've never worked with large language models locally, meaning on their own computers without going to the browser and using them, you can understand that if you do it, if you have a model that is massive, your computer is very unlikely to make it work. And therefore,
Get
you'll
it?
never be able to run personal projects with large language models. But I feel like, and I see already this shift, that within the next 12 months, we'll have smaller models that become more capable and will
Okay.
be able to perform very complex tasks with smaller models, which means it'll be faster, cheaper, and also very easily deployable for anyone to be used in our MacBooks or our Windows laptops. It's going to become much easier. I also think a few other things that could be improved, such as deploying applications, and we've seen this already this year. We see tools that like Replit, for example, where you can build an app and deploy it within the
Yeah.
same day and the same hour, which before you needed a lot of expertise to do and understanding of the cloud services to do so. So I see a good trend of what's working today, but being slightly improved within the next 12 months.
Okay, so now adding relating to you, since you mentioned about that SLMs are going to be the next thing, which is going to be adapted and embraced by the industry. So I would like to know much about the small language models. I've been very curious to know, and so
Yeah.
is our audience. Because of what all questions that I receive. So how exactly is this going to change? in a way that, post 2022 onwards, there came a massive boom of large language models, multiple
Yes.
companies. So and since we all know that all these things are related, like agentic AI, all these are like the twins of the same seed. So but
Mm.
how the, I would say, the acceptance of small language models, how exactly it will change the way we interact with technology? What are going to be the changes from a user perspective, like me being able to use a small language model over a large language model?
Yeah, I mean, it will very much depend on your use case. For complex tasks, you will still need large language models where you need a lot of reasoning, you need a lot of context, a lot of tokens. But for smaller tasks, you will need more of a smaller language models, SLMs. And that just makes sense. Let's say you have two different actions you want to be use LLMs or SLMs for, and one needs deep reasoning. It needs to understand the
Yeah,
context, the code, some images. If you use an SLM, the result will be very poor because it doesn't have that ability to understand something very complex. Whilst if you just do something where you just need a summarization, using an SLM to summarize some simple text, that will give you a very good response, very fast and very cheap. So why would you use for every single task the latest model that will cost you money
yeah.
and it will be slower? So it's just an understanding of, I have 10 different tasks. Where or what kind of models should I use for each and every task so that I can optimize for speed and for cost so that the end users are always happy. They don't have to wait every time they want something generated for them.
Understood. And so that moves, that moves me and takes me back to the next segment, which is obviously with with the acceptance of AI, small scale models, the large scale models. Obviously, so which particular industries are going to be, I would say, the industries which are positioned to be disrupted by the advanced, I would say, ML capabilities, and
Mhm.
if yes, how exactly and in what ways can we, so that we can better be prepared for the near future?
Yeah, I mean, there are many industries that will be impacted for sure. I can't say yet if it's for the best or for the worst, but we've already experienced many industries being impacted already, such as software engineering. The way we write code now and the way we ship applications has changed now. We have access to such powerful tools that can speed up the
Yeah.
process in terms of coding, maintaining, deploying, monitoring, which is becoming part of our day-to-day life. A few years ago, I had to write each and every function and debugging things manually, whilst now I can use an AI assistant to help me in real time. And just this is changing the way I work, which makes me more productive and able to do more complex things that I couldn't do by myself necessarily, or that would take me a long time to do. So this is just talking in the software engineering, data science sphere, but it's touching each and every industry that we know. Healthcare is going to be improved. We're going to be able to build really powerful models to estimate how long it will take for a patient to be seen or how long a treatment can work for. And all these kind of things, optimizing for finance as well, in terms of credit loans and all these kind of things. I do believe in the future that each and every industry in the world, whatever it is going to be
Yeah.
impacted by AI, no doubt, whatever it is.
Understood. So whether be it now, whether be it in the next, I would say 4 or 5 years, like
Yeah.
unless each industry accepts AI, or I would say age. I mean, it's too early to say for me, but yeah, one has to embrace and accept AI. One can simply be making a fool of ourselves that, we
Mm.
can avoid it, because unless what happens is all industries, all your competitors will be accepting it, and then you will shortfall, obviously, the
Mm.
way I understand it. But obviously, to be able to do that, or to be for me to accept AI, I need to train myself, and I need to train the model in a way that I want the results for myself as well as for the company. I mean, for a
Yes.
business that I work for. So obviously, how will this AI training methods and architectures fundamentally, because obviously it will change. So how will these, I would say, methods, architectures in the form of AI training change? Will they
Mhm.
change? Will they not change? And if they will change, what's going to be the impact for that? I mean, so it's because in a way it's more of like, that it's not that you have accepted AI, it's more of like keeping pace every year with the emergence of
Mm,
technology. So how exactly to, to prepare oneself for that AI training?
yeah, I
And
mean, it is.
when I'm
Sorry,
yeah,
go
I
on.
was I was only saying, I'm asking it from both the perspective, from both the B2C, in a way that me being an employee of an organization, as
Yeah.
well as from an organization's point of view, like an industrial point of view.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting question because how do we define a measure of success in the AI age? Is it enough to just use a few LLMs and call yourself that you know to how to use AI, or do you need to automate your whole system with AI agents and all these things? So
Mm.
there is a little bit of a nuance to put in here. And I think as long as companies or individuals manage to boost their productivity by using AI, that's already a win. Because if you keep listening to the news, you will find that every day there's a new model, there's a new agent framework, and you'll feel like you're always behind. But as long as you can boost your productivity with all these new frameworks, tools, even if you don't know how to code them necessarily, you just know how to use them, that's already a win. You've made the distinction between B2C and B2B, and these are
Yeah.
two fundamentally different things. B2B have more complexity, more privacy issues, more security concern, more budget concerns. So they see things from a very different lens than a consumer. And these days, there are really powerful techniques that a lot of AI engineers are using, like retrieval augmented generation, where you give context to your chatbots or whatever your application is, so that it only assists you or assists the end user based on the content of your company. It won't go elsewhere externally and give a random information to the end user. It will only
Okay.
answer based on your database. And that's already a big advancement comparing to just using ChatGPT as a consumer, because here you're feeding the model your data, which means that the end user will get a really accurate responses based on their questions. We also have autonomous agents as well that are properly trained on your data, that are given the necessary tools to perform tasks, and they can also be monitored so that you can get the responses that you want. Things, I would say 2025 has been a very big year for agents. There's been a lot of improvement in this space, but I still see that most of them are not yet used widely 100% in companies. So I think it's more a hype, it's more of a talk than a real performance at the moment. But if we go back into the consumer, the B2C people or us, normal users, have benefited massively from AI for the past 2 years. We've been able to literally 10x or 100x our productivity in
Yes.
writing, in creating design or video editing or creating music. It's just insane how much we've managed to do as consumers. So I see us more embracing AI tools so that we can always perform better. And as you said earlier, those that will be very reluctant to use AI because it's not good or it's evil, those will be left behind,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So that you should find a good balance between trusting the AI and just keeping your own creativity and critical thinking, which is also very important.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. Being a user of these models and these, I would say, the AI tools that we make use of, which runs onto the ML algorithms, it makes your task not easier. It boosts your efficiency, and it also saves you a lot of time. I mean, things which doesn't need your much of your time, you can simply rely on these tools to, like writing something, maybe writing an email, all those things, designs for that matter. So yeah, that I'm with you on this one, and that leads me to, the other part of it, that obviously with advancement each year passing by, all these models grows in terms of, enhancing their performance, and, be it the architecture. So as it grows, how can we address ourselves when it comes to the growing energy and the demands of large scale training models? I mean, because obviously, it's going to consume a lot of energy, not from I would say from an industrial point of view, but obviously if I'm having one of the AI chips in my system, So I
Mm.
mean, how to prepare oneself for that, because that's going to cost you obviously a lot of. So how exactly I can address and ensure the organizations can ensure themselves.
Yeah, I think this is a big scale issue at the moment because
Okay.
I feel like big industries and the biggest companies, the tech companies in the world, they're not yet thinking of the impact they're having by building all these ships and all these models and all these infrastructures. They're only thinking of the short-term benefit, which is, okay, how can we win the AI race? And they think less of how can we make sure that this is sustainable in terms of we're
Yeah.
building something that won't affect the future generations in terms of energy, pollution, and all the electricity costs and all these things. I think there is a necessity to be open to discuss the risks that AI brings into the world instead of just always thinking of, okay, what's the next tool, what's the next model? We improved our performance, we can now solve very complex mathematical problems with the new models, but we never think of, is this impacting really users and people in the world in terms of environmental costs and changes and all these things. And you said, how can we prepare for it? I think no one is prepared for it. We're just living day by day and hoping things will work out.
Yeah.
Uh, because it's true. I mean, if you have two sides of the AI hype and the AI generation that we live in right now. You have the very hopeful people that invest heavily in AI. And those are the ones that say that this will change our lives, medicine will improve, we will have better AI robot surgeons, you'll be just able to do a few creative tasks and AI will do the rest for you, and all these things. So they are hopeful, they think that AI will change our lives, which it is doing, but in a sense that they never speak about the downsides. And you have the others that are very concerned about ethics and security and privacy and mental health and all these things. And I feel like this second part is not showcased much because it's not flashy. It's
Hmm.
not called Gemini
Yeah.
3.0. It's not called GPT 0.5 or whatever the names are, because this is not the side they want to talk about. You know, when social media was released 20
Hmm.
years ago, no one really wanted to hear that this was going to cause the worst addictive generation of all time. They just wanted
Yes.
to say that it helped us communicate with our loved ones, even if they're abroad. It helped us
Mhm.
do all these things, have businesses online, which is true. We managed to get a lot, but we lost a lot as well. We have the least
Yes.
confident generation of all time. People can't even look at each other in the eyes anymore because they're always staring at a phone. So I think there should be a discussion on, okay, AI is improving our lives, maybe making us more productive, but is it
Yeah.
really? Is it in all aspects? How is it affecting the
Aspects.
environment? So I don't have answers to this, and I don't think anyone has at the moment. It's just we're gonna discover this over time.
Exactly, with time, with time. And
Yeah.
taking the conversation forward, this is, I mean, obviously, this is of my personal interest, not our viewers and I mean, people that we have. So, which particular tool happens to be your favorite, the AI tool that you make use of, or your all-time go-to get tool, whether be it from the perspective of making design, anything of that sort, data analytics, whatever. Any one such tool that is yours favorite, your go-to get to use
Yeah, I mean, in terms of models, you mean in general. I would say
in terms
that,
of models. Yeah.
yeah, models. I would say for most general day-to-day tasks, I still use ChatGPT. I use the latest
Okay.
models of ChatGPT. But for coding, I heavily use Claude. I use more Claude for
Okay.
coding. So in my work projects, I'm still old-fashioned VS Code. I didn't jump into
Okay.
Cursor and all these new IDEs. I tried them, but I prefer my own comfort in this case. So I use Claude
That works.
in VS Code in my project, and ChatGPT for most research purposes, information purposes, and just instead of using Google, I use ChatGPT to do research for me.
Yeah, I still remember there was a time when we used to make use of, there was a platform, Stack Overflow,
Yeah,
Long time
of
back we
course.
used to make use of, but
Of
now
course.
with the obviously with the emergence of AI, we are much more making use of these platforms and tools.
Yes.
So, since we have, Anas, since we have talked about the short-term impacts, I mean, what exactly can we expect the world, to uh, expect some changes into the AI/ML world? We've also talked about the medium-term changes. So let's move forward and take this conversation for the long-term aspects, long-term changes, and how
Mm.
exactly we can better prepare ourselves. So we have been, I've been hearing a lot of, and all of us have been hearing a lot of about AGI.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So I would like to know your views and insights. Like, is achieving AGI within the next, I would say, decade, is it realistic? And if it is, what would its arrival mean for the society, for people like general people like us?
Yeah, it's one of those big topics, and it has two different takes. When you talk about artificial general intelligence, which means that we will create a artificial intelligence that is capable of doing everything that we do and even better. It thinks better than us, moves better than us, stronger than us, and doesn't need to rest or need healthcare extra charges and all these things. I think yes, it's achievable at some point, not perfectly, but it will. And I feel like in terms of intelligence, what AI is capable to do at the moment, we are not. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can find so many weaknesses to AI at the moment, but the amount of calculation that you can do per second, the amount of accuracy that you can generate, the amount of context that you
Yes.
can get within seconds, the amount of different documents that you can process at the same time, we are unable to do so. What we stand out in is having critical thinking and understanding what works in certain industries because we have real experience in them, where AI doesn't. I think in terms of pure intelligence, we are getting to the point where it's becoming more intelligent than us. That's a reality, and that's why 80% of people, professionals now, they use AI because it just so powerful. It can answer questions within split seconds for you, do research for you, and help you brainstorm and code and create and innovate and all these things. It can understand a lot. The second part would be the physical aspect of humans. And this is yet the tricky one that uh,
Hmm.
many big companies are working on. And we can call it AI robotics because it's more linked to human movements. And recently, they started to launch very realistic and very accurate robots now that can really
Hmm.
emulate humans and hold things and throw things and jump and sit and stand and wipe and clean. And I think when you will have a combination of robots with extreme intelligence, that's already AGI to me. Yes, we can speak about is it gonna be better, is it gonna be improved or
Hmm.
whatever. But as long as you have a robot that has better intelligence than you, that can move like you or better than you 24/7, you've already created something that is better than you. And by you, I
Yes.
mean humans, you know? So, yes, I believe we will get to those points. And that's because a lot of companies are heavily investing in this without thinking of ethics or security or the impact. And that's, I think, is a very dangerous thing that we might be heading into.
So, moving on to what all you have shared with us, so that
Mhm.
leads me to the point that obviously with the advancement of technology and with time, obviously all these models, robotics, they will definitely shape and change the nature of work, the way we work now. And you have also answered that how exactly, in terms of, I would say, creativity, in terms of human expertise. But the whole worry is that, I've been reading and researching a lot, that it might be true that after a period of time, maybe after, I would say, 15 years, not now, I mean, working might become optional.
Mm.
Because I mean, in a way, all these robotics, these systems are performing almost 80% of the tasks which we can do, if not 100. Obviously 70 to 80% they'll be able to do. But something which requires, I would say, human emotion, for instance, profiles like sales, that requires human emotion. I have an emotion with, for instance, anybody, maybe somebody like you. So I mean all those tasks. But after a period of time, I think working will become optional, it will become more of obsolete. And I've been doing a lot of research, hearing a lot of podcasts by some of the leading AI engineers. Do you are you with the same page on me? I mean, the research that I've been doing forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we hear on the internet when we look at Elon
Yeah,
Musk saying that work is going to be optional in a few
yeah.
years. Um, I mean, that's what I'm saying, that you have both perspectives. You have the investor perspective, and those that invest heavily on AI that want to
Yeah.
sell a dream, they want to sell an outcome, they say that life will change. And you have others that are thinking, is this going to impact us in a way? What do you mean by not having to work anymore? What are we going to do? How can we you know what I mean? How can we earn money? Are we gonna become just obsolete and a robot will be controlling the world? It sounds more like a sci-fi movie than reality. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it
And
does, it does.
the scary part is, as Tristan Harris said in a podcast with Stephen Bartlett, he said that it's a shame that 6 people make decisions for 8 billion people. And those 6 people are just the top big tech companies that are
Mm.
investing heavily in AI and robots, like Elon Musk himself, and they decide what is our destiny. Because if they get it wrong, they can affect the whole generations that are coming ahead. And when you hear them talking, the only point that they try to convince us with is that if we don't build it now, and by we I mean the USA because they're the ones investing the most, then China will. So it's like an ego game. It's like who's gonna get there
Get it.
first. You know what I mean. So I'm in between being hopeful about the future because of AI and being very skeptical about if there is no consensus between countries into limiting what is done with AI and robotics, then I fear that it might be misused just to inflate each one's ego, and it will end up affecting who? The general public, all of us. And that's why I honestly I would like to emphasize on the point of security and is this even monitored? What's built in? Or are we just pushing models, pushing robots, and then when things happen, we'll try to figure them out? But I know throughout history that humanity has been sensible enough to
Yeah.
try and find arrangements to make sure that the worst doesn't happen. Like with nuclear war, at some point there was a consensus between countries to not use it anymore.
Hmm.
And I think we will get to the point with AI that we agree on certain things that we shouldn't build. We're capable of building, but we shouldn't because it might end up affecting all humanity.
Okay. And so before, I would say the last part of, I would say, is going forward for the next 10 to 15 years, which I just asked you, which is beyond the horizon, looking beyond the horizon. Obviously all of us can expect, we can
Mm,
guess, we don't know what will happen is. So what I would say ethical considerations should AI development, as the technology is becoming increasingly powerful. So I mean, in a way that should there be some guidelines that all these AI models, the robotics, should be used in, I would say, maybe like research and development. What's your take on that? Like, should it be restricted that, we are only going to be catering to similar sectors? I mean, I would say some sectors like healthcare, because that's
mm,
where it's required. And for sectors like R&D, obviously, it will help you boost, obviously, your productivity. So, I would just want to have your opinion on this, because I'm just as clueless. I'm just clueless. So, being
mhm,
an expert, I would want to have your insights on this so that it might help our audience understand the future of AI/ML, so that if they find it interesting, they can better be able to put their all their energy into learning it.
mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the question. So, should there be any, I would say, I would say, policies when it comes to making use of AI tools, like this particular tool will only be used for content generation, nothing else, and this particular
Mm,
tool only for R&D, this particular tool only for copywriting. Because nowadays we are seeing one tool is offering multiple things. So, and
mm.
each tool has a USP. ChatGPT is good for some reasons, the other AI tool might be good for some other reasons. So should there be or not, should there not be?
I think that we can speculate, in terms of what's going to happen in the next 10, 15 plus years.
Yeah.
I would say that I see now a lot of investment on a broad AI. An AI that can do lots of things, as you said, like ChatGPT. But in the future, I see it more specializing in certain industries, in medicine, in pharmacy, in agriculture, in I don't know, health, so many things that we can specialize in. And instead of going broad, we can go deep into certain topics and help optimize them as much as possible. And I think of the health sector primarily because it's one of those that a lot of AI specialists, they promise that this can cure cancer, this can help
Mhm.
with diabetes. So this is going to be the biggest impacts in the world in terms of energy as well. How can we optimize
Yeah.
the cost of energy over time? So we'll have to build systems and architectures that are less energy consuming, but still manage to get us best results. Um, but the whole concept of AGI is not to go deep into one topic, is to be able to generate this intelligence that can do anything and answer any topic. And is like the most intelligent person or robots
Yeah.
that is outstandingly good at anything you throw at it. So I think there is an investment in the broader perspective of we want to cover everything. We want to be good at everything, but there are also the people that want to heavily invest in certain topics in certain industries so that they can leverage the real power of AI to help people and not just to make money. So I think that that'll be a very, very interesting one to look forward to. And we can already see in terms of day-to-day tasks and productivity and writing and researching that AI is doing quite a good job. But
Yeah.
is it saving lives yet in medicine? Not yet. We are now luckily more informed. You can be just at home now and you have your shoulder that hurts and you just explain to ChatGPT what's happening to you and it can give you a quick diagnosis of what's happening. Whilst before you had to take an appointment of a few weeks to get to the doctor, and by that time your shoulder doesn't hurt anymore. You're all good. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
we're able to do so much today that we should be more appreciative of. Uh, but I really hope that big investors and companies they still consider the human parts because I feel like with all this AI talk, at some point, if in 10, 15, 20 years we have coffee
Yeah.
shops that are full of robots working and making coffees and serving food, all of us will go back to human beings because that's what we're used to. We want to speak to humans.
Yes.
We want to interact with humans. And I forecast and I imagine a world where we have coffee shops fully run by robots and we have other coffee shops fully run by humans. And the human coffee
Mm.
shop costs 3, 4 times more. And people will still go to those one that costs more
Yes.
because they
Yes.
want to see people. So I think the human part should never be lost. And I hope that it will never be the case.
Yeah. So that obviously, as I said, something which involves emotion. Like if I'm talking to you, if all of us, there's an emotion connected to it. It might be
Yeah.
excitement, it could be anything of that sort. So
Mm,
yeah, I'm with you on this one. That even if whether it will happen or not, if it will happen, people will definitely go to a coffee shop, which will
yeah.
cost 5x 6x. So I
Mm,
am with you on this one. So, my one last question before we move ahead, Anas, is you've been working on into the data BI world and the AI world. So, my understanding is that all these data science, analytics, all these are interconnected.
mm.
Now, what exactly is going to be your advice for somebody who wants to embrace AI, not in the form of using it, but in the form of contributing to it, be
Mm.
from a perspective of like being like a technical manager. technical product guy. So what's what is going to be your advice and suggestions to somebody who wants to make into the AI world, for both the segments, for somebody who hails from a technological background, and for
Mhm.
also for somebody who hails comes from a non-tech background? How exactly should he or she start?
Yeah, I would say first thing is be curious. A lot of tools now are available for you to get going. Before, you needed months and months of learning a few simple tools to be able to do some analytics or work on a machine learning project. But nowadays, you have a lot of things available to you. So I think that the entry point to get started in machine learning, AI, data in general is much easier and much simpler than before, which makes it also very competitive as well. Because if it's easy to
Yeah.
access, then a lot of people will, and you'll need a way to stand out. I
Okay.
would say that it's interesting to always, if you want to start anything in life, try to make it fun and try to make it in a way that you will enjoy sitting every day and learning about it. And the best way to do it, as I did it myself, I love football, for example. I used to do football analytics projects. And because I used to
Okay.
enjoy it, I like football. I then go find a data set and analyze it, do some machine learning. Yes, I was learning over time. I wasn't good, but I was doing something. I was looking forward to sitting on my computer and working on the project. And I feel a lot of, because I get a lot of messages on LinkedIn, people reaching out to me. So how should I start? Give me a roadmap, please. And the roadmap is quite clear. If you just type on roadmap for AI engineering or machine learning engineering,
Hmm.
you'll find 1,000 different resources that tell you that you need to learn Python, you need to learn this model. I mean, the roadmap is not the problem, but getting into that level of expertise is what makes
Yes.
people tickle a little bit. So if you take anything that you learn from a perspective of something you're passionate about, then you're more likely to spend more time on it, and then you're more likely to become good at it.
So the answer to the question is just be curious, put in all your efforts because you have ample of resources, and be consistent in a way.
Yeah, and work on something that you're interested in or passionate about, so that work doesn't feel like work. You feel more like play. You're enjoying what you're doing. Let's say you want to do an AI agent. Instead of going and doing a boring finance AI agent because you saw someone talking about it on YouTube, go create your own AI agent that can write
Hmm.
some sort of stories that you like, and you can train it on things that you enjoy, so that when the results appear, you feel proud of them, and that's something you're interested in. Or you create a model that can predict if your favorite baseball team is going to win the championship, or something like this. It makes it just a little bit more fun. You're learning whilst having fun, and you're becoming good at the skill.
I get the point. It's making use of, I mean, understanding and being able to apply whatever you are learning in a
Hmm.
way that excites you. It could be in the form of, if I have to watch Netflix, what
Yeah,
can be the which particular series can be the next big hit, or like if I like watching El Clasico or something of that sort, doing
yeah,
sports analytics, anything of that sort. I understood.
yes. Mhm.
So I want all our viewers and Anas know that as we wrap up this session, as we wrap up this episode, as this comes to a close, uh, apart from coming up live onto the YD channel, onto the YouTube channel, we also organize events and workshops, majorly catering to the data science world, machine learning world, BI world, and much more. And we are coming up with a live workshop in the month of in the month of January. Sorry. So in the month of January on 24th, which is going to be focused on the mathematics which is used in the machine learning. So applied mathematics. The event, the paid workshop, workshop will be run by Tivadar Danka, and a link will be inserted and embedded with this video. All of you can go onto the link, and as per your interest, whatever aligns and matches with your goals, with your interests, you can just look at all the events, and feel free to sign up, register. In case of any query, all of you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's something that we also do on us apart from running the YT episodes.
Hmm.
And I'll be happy to have you in that
Thank you.
workshop. So yeah, you'll be there. So that's all about it. and I'll stay in touch. Thank you so much for
Thank,
your time, Anas. Thank you
yeah,
so
thank you.
much.
It was a
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you.
It was a pleasure for me too. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Bye.